been a while since we've been back here. What's up, guys? Shadow Steel here, and welcome back to Trains in World 6. So a couple, well, not too long ago, the Santa Fe pack, the Santa Fe Retro pack, as I jokingly have called it, released on Train Sim World 6. This is from High Iron Simulations, and we're going to be operating our own train here. Well, one of the services in the timetable mode. So we have an intermodal service behind us, and we're waiting for the brakes to come off, actually. Let's see if it will work. Okay. The amp's coming up there. The train moving just a tad. Oh, the lights on and everything here. What's one on number 804, eh? Okay. Come on. You can do it. Wait, oh, the step lights are on too. I didn't notice that. Turn those off here, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Where are they? Over here, aren't they? Over here somewhere. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey there. Yep. There we go. Back off. Oh, now we're moving. Jesus Christ. Didn't even notice that. Alright, well, we're good. Alright, off we go. This is supposed to take about 52 minutes according to the the menu. That's it. I'm trying to think of what the thing is called. But the scenario, the run itself is supposed to take 52 minutes. So we'll see how that works out. Very loud out there. Okay. But yeah, we're traveling over Cajon Pass. It's an older route, but it's one of those routes that that I actually kind of I've run a few times, and it's actually enjoyable. Just gonna get out of the yard here. Slow down. Already approaching track speed here. We'll just go to notch 1 here. 55 limit coming up here. Clear block ahead. That's for the other track over there. Picking up speed. Just slightly. You can hear the brakes coming off there, the air spitter. Alright. Coming through the yard. It's already at 6:15. Server started at it's been 5 minutes since I started the scenario. Or the run, or the timetable run. Huh. Interesting. Yep, there we go. Alerter. Always gotta have the alerters running. Okay. 27 miles an hour. We're going up great now, though. Alright, easy does it. Graphs on the tracks there. No. Yeah, this route is kind of, it's one of those routes that, for the most part, it's had so many runaway trains with it. So, probably the most well documented, at least in terms of like, what's it? I'm trying to think of it. I'm having a blank today. A lot of blanks today. But there was the 7551, Southern Pacific 7551. The reason I know that number is because there was an episode of, ironically, Mayday Air Crash Investigations that featured that train derailment. It was just over Cajon Pass. It actually derailed at San Bernardino, not far from Duffy Street, I believe. Yeah, it was actually on Duffy Street. which I've never been to, honestly, but there's that's an area of Cajon Pass that is present, I think, in this version of the route. At least in its modern era, so. Alright, now we can go notch 8. There we go. Get her moving, boys. But yeah, it was a pretty nasty derailment. From the investigation that the NTSB did, I believe was the fact that the locomotive did not have enough dynamic braking for the train's weight, which is actually a common problem with this game. I've no, like, the way the dynamic brakes on these trains work, it's very awkward to go down grade, especially nearly a 3% grade like Cajon passes, and get down there safely just with the dynamics alone. Now, I believe in a lot of cases you're supposed to use a combination of dynamics and air brakes, especially on like steeper grades. But it was one of those things where it's like they didn't even have enough dynamics to even, so they were not even being able to be held by the air brakes. What the fuck was that? Wow, that was weird. Like a jump scare there. But yeah, it was one of those things where like the dynamics were working on like half of the locomotives that were present on that consist, so it wasn't even able to like run under normal circumstances with the dynamics on, like with the dynamics in the air. It was basically being only held down by the air brakes, which you probably shouldn't use just alone. Well, for sure you can't use it just by itself, because there was actually like, they actually said that the locomotive, that when the NDSB got to the investigation, the crash site, the brakes had melted by just how much they were being used, and it was just like, holy crap! How much are you using those brakes on the downgrade at the 300? And to be fair, they traveled down that grade. They were going about over 90 miles an hour. I think it was 96 miles an hour or 97, something like that. Something crazy like that. They got down to the bottom of the grade, hit the curve at 97, 98, maybe even 100 miles an hour. And they just jumped the tracks over a curve. And there's a line that's kind of like, that sticks out of my mind from that particular episode, where he says, we're going to die on that curve. And it's just like, if he actually said that, that's incredible. Like, that's like a thing out of an action movie, honestly. But at the same time, it's like, I doubt he's going to say, like, just keep in mind, this was in 1996. So this was just days before, only a year or two before, but BNSF and the BNSF was created, and the Union Pacific took over the Southern Pacific. So this is kind of one of those things where it's like legit, like it was a big transitional period for the two big railroads that operated out here. And I mean, Santa Fe had operated out here since the 1800s, and then the Southern Pacific had operated out of here since the 1800s. So the idea of these locomotives, like I mean, today the Union Pacific and the Southern Pacific, the Union Pacific and the BNSF operates out of Cajon Pass. It is mainly a BNSF subdivision because it was built by the Santa Fe, but there is but I think the Union Pacific has trackage rights over this particular section of the grade, over this particular section of the place and whatnot. I'm trying to think of what I'm saying here. Yeah, it's an early morning. Now, I should have mentioned this before. As soon as I can turn my headphones down here. Jesus. Alright, there we go. Okay, I can hear myself think. But we're carrying an intermodal freight behind us, which is kind of funny considering the episode of Railroader that I released a couple days ago was focused around intermodal services. So it's an intermodal week this week, which is kind of fun. Should probably turn off those step lights back there, honestly. We should be climbing up the grade pretty nicely here, though. So this scenario is going to be about 90 minutes. So it says an hour, at least an hour. So I double checked on that. Okay, here we go. Waypoint. Still climbing great. We're still going about 33 miles an hour. And through the point. There we go. Next waypoint. Cargill at 4 miles. Got it. I know. Oh boy. This is going to be a long one, boys. I do like the looks of these locomotives. Say what you will about high-end simulations work on the locomotives. They don't look half bad. They're not, like, perfect, obviously. They're a little bright in terms of the color. You'll see in the daylight runs with these stuff that they have a lot... The red is a lot brighter than it kind of should be. But it's also, like, slightly worn down. Like, it's not actually red. It's kind of like a pinkish red. And it kind of makes me laugh because if you've ever seen these units, like, these units are still around. These locomotives are still around with BNSF. But they have the BNSF numbering, but they still have the Santa Fe paint. And what's kind of funny is that they're often jokingly called pink bonnets now because of just how faded the paint is. And I think that's what that high iron simulation's kind of gone with here a little bit, is that they're kind of got this reddish pinkish look to them. Not fully pink, but like enough there where you like can tell, like, oh yeah, that's what the hell happened to that bus? That bus went crazy. But yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, we'll see in the daylight, like the daylight here, like when the sun starts rising a little bit more. But it's one of those things where it's very much like, oh yeah, that might have been what they were using for the reference colors. I just deepened it up a little bit and then set it out. You guys, again, like the Santa Fe, many of the Santa Fe war bonds are still around under the BNSF railroad, which is quite hilarious considering that railroad has not existed properly since 1996. So to think that many of the Santa Fe war bonds are still around, still unpainted from the day they got merged, is rather hilarious. I mean, granted, there are a lot of locomotives like that out there on the BNSF system. There is the Cascade Green BN locomotives that are still around in a lot of cases. Many of them SD40s, actually. A lot of the SD40s are still painted in BN colors, which is also kind of funny. Again, that's a road that has not existed since the 1960s or 1990s. But like roads like that are just like, there's like a handful of like, I want to say for a little bit there was a handful of locomotives that were painted in like even older railroads for a little bit before they got repainted. But the one thing about the BNSF livery that for the most part I was thinking about now, and I just realized it when I was just going around just taking a look at things. The BNSF livery might be a combination of a handful of like fallen flags, honestly. Because if you actually look closely at the liveries for like the Great Northern in particular, and then compare it to what the BNSF is using, mainly on the H1 and H2 variants, you can kind of see the Great Northern influence there. So it's kind of interesting to see kind of like how this railroad has evolved over the years. That was one of those things that I really wanted to do a proper series on, was like the Heritage Week stuff for the BNSF. Because I grew up with the BNSF essentially. I grew up with mainly the BNSF because I was not around before the time of the BN, but by the time, like by the 90s, like when I was aware of it and everything, like the late 90s, there was still a lot of BN equipment out there. BN and Santa Fe equipment, so it wasn't too far off when you would just sit by the tracks, look by the tracks and see, oh yeah, that's a Santa Fe war bonnet coming down the line at track speed and whatnot, like in 1998 and whatnot. It was one of those things where it's like, it didn't really go away fully until about, I would say about the late 2000s is when they started really repainting a lot of their units. into the new by that point it was H2. And speaking of, by the way, speaking of the paints, they actually pretty much scrapped their old Great Pumpkin unit, which was kind of an iconic unit because it was one of the few units that was still painted in an H1. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there are several liveries by the BNSF Railroad. There's the H1, H2, and the current one that they're using is the H3, which I believe the H is referred to as Heritage or something like that. But interestingly enough, they had like at least 1 or 2 units that were painted in H1 liveries. I think some of their SC40 are still painted in H1, which is really cool. Like really cool to see. But they're only like wide cab, like one of their few wide cab diesels that was painted in H1 colors has since been is being rebuilt or just straight up scrapped, which is really unfortunate. But it's like, it's par for the course with these locomotives. Like many of those locomotives have been running for 30 years by this point. It's like the same thing with the P42s. They've been running for 30 years. They need to be replaced or like heavily modified by this point. I mean, look at what Norfolk Southern's doing with the rebuild program. A lot of those locomotives are being rebuilt to higher standards and in better shape. But many of the locomotives in the roster that are being that's happening to are locomotives that are essentially like 30 years old. And it's like, yeah, that's to be expected with this kind of these locomotives here at this point. Like many of those older locomotives, they need to be rebuilt with newer technology, newer equipment, and it's like, yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's kind of the way the railroads work. They've always had rebuilds. Like you look back at the steam era, essentially. There were many locomotives, some of them quite famous, that were just rebuilds from other steam locomotives. The most famous example that you probably come about nowadays is Reading 2102 and the Reading T1s. Those locomotives were basically originally 210Os, I think. They were either 210Os or 210-2s, and they were rebuilt to 484s. And it was one of those situations where it's like they needed the power, they needed that, because those were, I think, built during World War II. They were rebuilt during World War II, and that's one of the reasons why you see a lot of these locomotives that get the rebuild treatment. Oh, a train coming up our way, don't we? If I'm mistaken, right? There should be a train coming up this way. I think it should be around the curve here somewhere. Anyway, I'm going to turn down the lights so we don't blind him. Medium to do it. That way we don't blind them, but we don't have the brights on. Should be coming around the corner here. I'm all the way. Yeah, locomotive rebuilds are just... Oh, there he is. I see him now. He's got his brights on. Oh, he's on the far track, though. That's good. Looks like a... Oh, that's not an intermodal. Got it. Alright, we can turn the lights back on. No, the other way. There you go. We're climbing the grade. He's going down the grade. But, yeah, 30 years is a long time for a lot of these locomotives. I mean, that was the same thing with the F40 PHs that people love. Many of those locomotives were built in 1976, and then by the time by the time that the P42s came along, the P40s actually, the Genesis locomotives, it had been 30 years. It was like 1990 when they were introduced, and it was one of those things where it's like, okay, we need this we need new power, essentially. And it was like, I think it was 1990, 1993 when those were introduced. And by that, you have to keep in mind, like, those F40 PHs, many of them were introduced in 1973, 1976 to replace the already kind of wonky F40 PHs, or not, SCP-40Fs. That's the one. So it's just like progress goes quickly at times. Climbing the grade. We're going about 40. We got a 45 coming up here. Not like we're gonna make it anyway. We're not like we're gonna go track speed here. We're about 30 miles an hour, which is fine. See the locomotive jittering about here as we climb up here. To location Cajon, and then we go to Summit essentially. So it should be good. We've got a long ways to go though. We're out in the boonies now though. I thought about playing a scenario as well on these runs, but I'll save that. I'll probably save that for later. I might make Train Sim World a little bit more of a constant thing on this channel, but who knows. As I do enjoy it, I do enjoy kind of the various things with it, but you know. Also, while I was operating these locomotives, I just noticed that they don't have train faults, which is kind of disappointing. I get that it's just mainly because it's older, it's a DLC for an older route. But like you'd think that they would add like the engines shutting down from high overheating, or them essentially basically having some sort of fault with them, whether it be those stuck windshield wipers, which is very common faults actually, or something like that. But unfortunately, there's no train faults with these locomotives that I'm aware of, unless I have the setting turned off. I might have the setting turned off, honestly. Sun is rising. Climbing the grade here. It's gonna take a long time to get up there. It's like 5 miles out now, 5.5 miles. We're still traveling at 30 miles an hour. Like we're not gonna be going up here that fast. Always got to keep an eye on the HUD there, so we can get the alerter to press the alerter before we get to it. Whew. I got my nose. All right, what we got up here? No signal. Or no, not no signal. There's a signal up there. I think we got the clear, right? Yeah, we got the clear. And once we get past that, I believe there's a whistle post up ahead, if I'm not mistaken. I'm picking up speed here. Picking up a little bit of speed. Oh, well, we went from 1.5 to 2% in a matter of minutes. You should be fine though. Driving under the speed limit. Yep. If I have the... It's just... I'm a little disappointed. Like, this is one of those routes that is not bad, but you just don't see much action on it when you're on the timetable mode. But when you're in scenario mode, it's like there's trains left and right. And it's kind of disappointing to me that I was a little disappointed that the services don't happen like that. What is that? Whistle post? That might be a whistle post, honestly. Is there a crossing up there? It might be, honestly. Let's see. What is it? Oh, I don't see one. Okay, that was just a speedometer post or something. I don't know. Maybe a mile post, honestly. That's a mile post right there. Might have been a mile post. Okay, we got another speed limit coming up, about 35. Oh, Lord knows we're only traveling 33. Alright. We're gonna be the cars are gonna be biting us here in a second. You see the HUD, the thing on the HUD there. It's like, okay, we're gonna be traveling around like that. Okay, we're picking up speed about 35 now for once. Okay, interesting. I need to shut down the throttle a little bit. Maybe, depends. Oh, we've got 2 miles out before we actually really consider that. We're trying to get up to track speed here. Did that once out of San Bernardino, but still. Okay. Your locomotive's just ripping it back there. Notch 8. We've been at notch 8 the entire time. We've not gone down 1 notch since we have started. Like, wait, really? Wait a minute. So that's the Independent. So. Oh. So he said. I'm thinking about the movie Unstoppable, because this is basically the cab is basically similar to the AC-44 that's seen in the film. And I'm starting to realize something with that film. Like, now granted, I've known this for a while now because I've seen a couple videos on it, but that's the Independent. He sets the Independent. He sets the Independent to full, which would be correct, like if you're just rolling, like. But he doesn't, like, the throttle is over here. It's a combined throttle dynamics, which is correct. It's even seen in the film correctly as a combined dynamic and throttle. And the film shows it going down to notch 8, which is right down here. And I gotta admit, it's like, that's at least somewhat accurate to what it would have, like the throttle position. Like, they didn't fuck with it too much. That's good. I'm climbing the grade here. Speed limit up ahead is 35. Oh, hello. Yeah, we got the speed limit coming up now. 35. Got my phone. Am I crossing up here? I think there is. Can't tell. Oh, yeah, there is. There's a crossing up here. Just a tad. Ah! I think there's a crossing. I want to say there is. There's a road right over there, so I think there is. Yeah, there it is. There's the whistle post. The whistle post? Maybe. No, speed. No, there's. Alright, we're coming up. What the hell? Guy rail fanning over there. Alright, we're clear. Alright, we're through. I'm up to 35 here, and we're going 31. Actually dropping in speed here as we can climb through the curves here. There's the speed limit sign right there. Boop. Alright. Yeah, that movie, it's actually a fun little movie. It's a fun little action, stupid action film. So I'm not, but like if you're looking for it for realism, like go outside and practice falling down. That is not a movie that you want to see for realism. You want to see that film for action and stupid stuff like that. It's a cheesy action film of the early 2000s. Like, that's kind of the whole thing. What in the fuck? I don't know if that's real. Is that actually in the real world? Like the 66 up there? That's weird. I don't know what that is. No, we're picking up speed again. Just slightly. We're at 32. We're picking up a little bit of speed. I really did. That is so weird. I've only just now noticed that. Plus, I haven't run this route in a long time. Which I haven't, actually. I'm around a horseshoe here. I'm staying at 33. 34. Never mind. Shut down. There we go. Now we're slowing down a bit. I don't want to be going too fast here. That's for a train back there. Let's see it. Fucking window's in the way. The fucking window frame. Damn it. Let's see. Oh, that's the back end of it there. The back end of it's like hiding behind the window frame. That's funny. Alright. We're coming up. Is that another whistle post coming up here or something? There is. We got a 45 coming up here too. Cool. Get up to speed again. If we can. Alright. 2 miles out for the next waypoint. And I think after that, we're going to Summit. And then we're going to be stopping. So we shouldn't be too far off. We should be pretty good on time. 43. Okay, yeah. We've been recording for about 30 minutes now. Go ahead and notch up the throttle here. Clear. Got red blocks on the other tracks here. Okay, I'm slowing down a cell. Keep an eye out for signals. Not a lot of crossings out here, are there? It's the middle of the desert. Of course, there's not going to be a lot of crossings. A high desert, actually. Well, that's a crossing post, actually. I think that was a crossing, was it? Yeah, it is. Horn's not bad. Oh yeah, that's definitely a crossing. Huh. Are there cars waiting over there? Nope, just rail fans. Okay, we're good. On a bend here. Woo! 45 coming up. That's in 2,000 feet. Lord have mercy. Alright, so we've made it this far. Let's check on something here. About 30 minutes. I figured I was recording for 30 minutes. Doesn't take that long to get up the grade here. Now, for those of you wondering, I'm recording this on Thanksgiving Day, and it's supposed to be out today. So, it is kind of funny. Like, I posted a poll on my YouTube channel a while back, saying like, "Hey, would you guys like a video on Thanksgiving Day?" Apparently, they did. I'm a little surprised by that. That's one of those things where I looked at it like, oh, yeah, that's interesting. Yep. There you go. Didn't realize the alerter was still going. Okay. 31 miles an hour. Of course, another curve out here. Is the back of our train back there or something? I don't know. Seems like a good horseshoe somewhere out here. Well, not horseshoe. I mean like S-bend where we can get some good screenshots. Well, whatever. It's not bad. No, nothing. Okay. Flipping between the cameras. On the grade here. Alright, we got 3,000 feet before we reach the next waypoint here. Ah, shut up. We've still got limit of 35. Oh, never mind. Now we're at 45. Now we're going to drop back down to 35 in a second here. So after Cajon, it's Summit, and I think after that, we stop at the next signal. Which shouldn't be too far. we're not going to be running track speed for very long here. Here we come. Right up here. I'll hush you. Alright. This waypoint. Plunk. There we go. More points. Next waypoint is in 2 miles. Summit. 2.8 miles. So not far. Not far. Okay. We're doing okay. Pick up speed again. 2% grade, and we're picking up a little bit of speed here. That's interesting. What is that? It looks like just construction material. Alright, fair enough. The sun is coming out. Sun's coming up. I so want to do that. It's just like there's a. It's an old achievement hunter thing. If you've ever seen the achievement hunters, I think I've talked about this before actually on my channel, long time ago, honestly. But they would do this thing where like the sun's coming up, whoa! That whoa part was never in the song, apparently. But it's like it's just one of those things where I still do that sometimes, like just randomly, just like with situations like this. So I have another couple crossings to go over through here. Yeah, we got a 30 coming up. We gotta drop our speed here. Not by much though. We're gonna keep it at notch 7 so we don't like slam on the brakes too hard. 2.2% grade. I told you this was like a nearly 3% grade all the way up here. So, what's that? Speedometer. Oh, there's a crossing right up there. I see it. Alright, we're good. Clear through. We're at 30 now. We'll go ahead and just notch back up to 8. I think this is where the S-bend was, honestly. I gotta be sure of that. There's an S-bend that's like really beautiful in terms of like the actual screenshot here. No, we're picking up the speed again. Notch it back down. Maybe? I think it's... No. Thought it was over here somewhere. Maybe it's a little further up, honestly. Maybe. Yeah, it might be a little further up. Because we're in the that's probably where it's at. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, now that the sun's come out a little bit, you can kind of see what I was talking about with the colors, honestly. Slightly yellow, reddish, pinkish kind of colors there. Not too bad, at least from my point of view. They were not like, if you saw images of these like in the 90s, they would look kind of like this. Yep, alerter. There we go. That's 30 limit. I think that's the 30 limit. No, it's not the 30 limit. That's something else. I think that was a crossing. Down there. I'll say it was a crossing. It's either a crossing or something else. Something else. Okay, whatever. Wasn't sure. Gotta be careful. It's mountain railroading. You gotta be careful around there. The 2.3% grade out here. What the hell? Went up even higher. Almost 3%. Well, almost 2.5% still. Track pad. That's something? Is that something? I don't know. I can't tell. I can't tell what's going on anymore. Gotta look out for any locomotives or any trains out here. I can't see anything. Oh yeah, it's definitely up here. This is it. There's an S-bend right up here that I want to get a good shot of. Yeah, I think it's just past this. There's a bridge up here that's alerter. Thank you. There's a bridge just further up the line here that's like actually like the kind of covers up S-bend that's just up ahead here. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Hello. Hello. Yeah. So this is what we'll be doing. Yeah, this is where I wanted to go here in the first place. Okay. This is the S-bend I was thinking of. Right here. Yes, this is basically the S-bend I was thinking of. Okay. That's what I thought. Well, maybe. Maybe it's a little further up, actually, now I think about it. Because there's still shadows around here. Because I remember... Yeah, here it is. Yeah, this is it right here. The alert is on again. This is it right here. This is what I was thinking of. Because you have the shadows from this part. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Oh, Jesus. Interesting. Well, that's interesting. You zoom in just enough, it freaks out the shadows there. Okay, fair enough. Go down a little bit. Whee! I know. Good. Oh, up a little bit. Okay. Traveling at 27 miles an hour. We can notch up here a bit. Whoop. Wait here for the train to come by. Actually, wait. I can get a good shot of the train as it rolls through here without really like getting into this valley here. See, when I zoom in, it just freaks out the colors with the lighting here. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I didn't know that. That's weird. Oh, slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Holy crap, we were going... We dropped in gradient there. Holy crap. Bonk. Just hit the mic there. Hit the mic, boom mic there. Bonk. I want to make sure I don't, like... Okay, now we're slowing down again. Keep an eye on the alerter here. Tweet, tweet, bird. There she is. You can see her now. You can see her coming around the corner now. Alright, gotta make sure I do this right. I do not want to lose this opportunity again. I tried this before and it didn't work. We're picking up speed or we're slowing down? It looks like we're picking up speed a little bit. We're only at notch 7, so we're picking up a little bit of speed here. There we go. Got it. That'll do. Alright, good. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of the screenshot here. Woo. Field of view. We can move down here. Maybe. I don't know. I don't want him in it. Oh, God. Borg. Get a good view of this all through here, honestly. This might work. Field of view needs to be a little tighter, though. There you go. 26 should do it. There you go. That's not a bad shot, honestly. I gotta admit. Got the Santa Fe in the background. The old Santa Fe. War bonnet. And then take the screenshot. Go. Save. That's the S. This is the S-bend I was thinking of the whole time. It just looks nice. Let's go down here a bit. I get down on the railhead again. I did this a similar screenshot like this before on the Hoboken line. I think it always just looks nice, honestly, just in my opinion. Like the shot on the railhead and everything. The morning shots are really cool too. Save. There you go. Fuzzy. Why are you fuzzy? Okay, fuzzy. Alright, there we go. Got it. We're good. Woo! Coming up the grade here. The whistle post. Nice. A horn out here in the distance. Yeah, we are picking up speed. How far are we from Summit? 3 miles. We've gained distance. What the hell happened to the smoke there? That's weird. So the lighting will have a weird glitch with that, eh? Oh, we still got the bell going. Whoops. Oh, that's where the scenario starts, eh? Interesting. Huh, cool. I do like the lighting in this game. The lighting is always the nicest part of this game. Alright, shut her down, enjoy one more notch. Don't want to be going too fast here. We're going about track speed already. Got a lot of beautiful shots of the Santa Fe unit on this run alone. 3.3 miles now. 3.3 miles. We've gone even farther back. We should be coming up to the final waypoint, though. Lord have mercy. These are not bad looking locomotives. I do like that. I do like this. There's some differences between them and the CSX version of this locomotive, but not very many. Climbing the grade. I got a 40 limit coming up here. Probably for a short distance anyway. CFM gauge, everything. We're good all the way over here. Not 7. I bet we have more than 39 cars behind us, honestly. More than that in terms of power. Alright, here we come. 3 miles now. We're looping around ourselves and climbing the grade and twisting and turning up and down. Alright. Doing okay. How long are we recording for? 48 minutes. About right. That sounds about right here. Okay, let me take a look at the map here, because our next waypoint is there. I think the stop is just up ahead, somewhere around here, somewhere. I don't know where it would be. I'll have to show you. Fucking order. I was checking the map. Yeah, we're good here. We're still slow. We're not going track speed, but we're going up there. 40 coming up in a bit. Okay, we're at 2.5 miles from the waypoint. Good. Yeah, here we go. We're coming up the summit now. Jeez. The amount of distance we have to travel up here. This is probably the longest run out of the whole thing, honestly, because you're just climbing the grade the entire time. hasn't been too bad though in terms of time. Like they did say about like 52 minutes, I think, like 50. It was meant to be an hour, obviously, and it's been about an hour since we started the scenario, so not too bad. Here's another beautiful shot here coming up. There's something nice up here. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Again, like I said, the lighting in this game is always top notch. The lighting in like Train Sim World 6 has probably the best lighting I've seen so far in this game. But then again, they always improve that every now and again, so not surprised. Corner up here. Woo! Less than a mile out now. Coming up to the 40 limit up here too. So we've been traveling at track speed pretty nicely too, which is not bad. You would have think that I would not be able to travel at track speed for the most part. Goodness. Been sitting down for too long. Alright, oh, there's the alert. Yeah, I know. I saw it. We got an approach coming up here. Yep, this is basically near the end of the scenario. That's why I thought we have an approach coming up. Which means we're coming up to the top of the grade too, actually. Man, that's beautiful. See what? That's kind of cool, actually. The high desert out there. Oh, cool. Woo! The summit should be less than a mile out? Yeah, less than a mile. About 7,000 feet from us, so. Whoop. This is why you run with safety sensors, because I did not know that was up there. Running again, damn it. Track down there. I'm picking up a little bit of speed. 28 miles an hour now. There's the approach, just up ahead. We got a 45 limit come up here, too. Huh, interesting. Round the curve we go! Whee! Okay, waypoint is in less than 5,000 feet. Got it. Driving under the speed limit. You get 65 points for each run. Or each mile you drive like that, I guess. There should be, I believe, a Union Pacific freight that comes up here soon. Yeah, we should be around the corner there. Got an approach. Flashing. Flashing yellow. Got it. Oops. Approach. I'm picking up speed again. Got this. Oh, dear God. Grade leveled out. Grade leveled out for a little bit. Yeah, we're on a 0.8% grade here. Got another approach. Should be a Union Pacific freight coming around the corner. That's the thing. Unless it's just stopped up ahead. I'm going to 0.6%? We're actually leveled out here. At the top of the grade. I mean, we did pass summits, or we are nearing summits, so that would make sense. Alright, slow down. Got another approach. We got a 50 limit coming up. Alright, shut her down. Shut her down. I guess that UP freight that I saw last time was... oh, whatever. Alright. Next waypoint, stop in... Actually, quite a short distance here. Holy crap. Alright, well then. We're stopping at Summit... Or, stopping just shy of Summit East, eh? Wait, what is that? Oh, there's the freight. Okay, it was just up ahead of us. So he should be, is he rolling or is he just stopped there? Oh yeah, he's just stopped. He's waiting. This is the Sherman Hill asset pack that I have here. The Sherman Hill stuff. We're picking up, we're going downgrade a bit, like 1%, so. And boink. There we go. We're gonna get another shot of it. These two kind of rolling by each other. Oh, that's a cool... Okay, was not expecting how well that turned out here. Okay, well, shit. Alright, there we go. Take that shot. There we go. Save. That turned out extremely well. I like that. That was actually not a bad shot there. The smoke is the only complaint I have about these locomotives here. That's just absurd. Okay, we're not at the 50 limit here. Stopping is at about 5,000 feet there. Okay, I'm gonna shut her down here. Looks like we're getting some speed here. 30 miles an hour should be good. There it is. Yeah, we're coming up to a red block in 2 miles. Got it. Alright, boys. We made it. Made it to our destination, essentially. Summit East, and then the rest of it goes downhill. It's all downhill from here, so... Oh, there he goes. He's moving now. Our train's moving. That's funny. Why is we pass him, too? He must have been waiting there for a while. Yeah, he must have been... okay, that's interesting. Huh. Ah, alerter. I mean, I wouldn't be against the alerter just shutting us down entirely from here, but oh. No. Alright, here we go. We're coming up to the grade. Coming up to the stop. There we go. Clear horn blast. A little bit on the initial reduction there. Got it. Applying service. Full service. There we go. We're past. At least we don't go past the red block. We should be fine if we don't go past the red block here. Bang. Alright, boys. We made it. Alright. Good. Not bad. The report says we've done well. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it probably came a little late because I have to do a lot of editing before I even post it. But like and comment down below, subscribe if you guys want more, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.